It's easy to look in the mirror and think, I'm just getting older, when we notice our arms shrinking, our legs losing power, or our energy dipping lower than it used to. But what if I told you that what you're experiencing isn't just aging, at least, not the kind that's inevitable? What you're facing might be something else entirely, something silent, gradual, and devastating to your quality of life, muscle loss, or more specifically, sarcopenia. Now, most people assume muscle loss starts when you're old, like in your 70s or 80s. But the truth is, muscle atrophy begins far earlier, by your 30s and 40s, and the most dangerous part, it's quiet, it doesn't scream, it whispers, you notice it not when you lift weights, but when you find yourself avoiding stairs. When the grocery bags feel heavier, when you stop sprinting just because you don't feel the urge to anymore, that's not laziness, that's your nervous system and muscles disconnecting. That's the early warning sign. Muscles aren't just for aesthetics or athletic performance. They're central to your vitality. They regulate glucose, support bone density, and maintain metabolic function. They act like a battery, storing and generating energy when you need it most. So, when your muscle tissue shrinks, it's not just your strength that disappears. Your immune system, metabolism, balance, posture, and even your brain performance all begin to suffer. That's why fatigue creeps in. Why recovering from workouts becomes harder, why you feel less like yourself and more like a version that's dimming slowly. Here's the real kicker. This decline often happens not because we aren't trying hard enough, but because we're missing something fundamental. It's not just a lack of exercise. It's not even just protein. It's that we're neglecting a critical nutritional input, a category of food so essential to muscle preservation that skipping it is like trying to build a house with no foundation. Imagine for a moment your muscles as a construction site. You've got the blueprint, your training routine, you've got the workers, your effort and consistency. But what happens when you don't bring in the right materials? The site shuts down, the muscle stops building, or worse, it starts to fall apart. That's what's happening when your body isn't supplied with the right combination of nutrients, not just macronutrients, but micronutrients. Things that spark cellular regeneration, that activate muscle protein synthesis, that keep the nervous system firing and the body adapting. People often feel frustrated, saying, I eat clean, I take my supplements, I work out. Why am I still feeling weak? The answer lies in what they aren't eating, because what's absent from your plate can be more dangerous than what's on it. There's one food in particular that's been almost completely removed from modern diets. It used to be a staple in ancestral nutrition. It's dense, powerful, and biologically designed to support the exact systems that are declining in your body right now. And when that food is missing, no amount of protein shakes or fitness apps will make up for the gap. See, you can train harder, you can sleep more, you can even take supplements, but if your cells don't have the raw materials to rebuild, if your mitochondria are underpowered and your motor neurons are undernourished, then muscle loss is inevitable. What feels like fatigue is actually a signal. What looks like aging is really a slow, internal collapse of systems that were once supported by robust, nutrient-dense foods. The good news is that this decline is reversible. You can halt muscle loss and even rebuild strength rapidly if you address the root cause, but first, you have to understand what your body's been missing, and it starts with what's on your fork. That one forgotten food could be the very thing keeping your muscles from disappearing. Most people think building or preserving muscle is all about lifting weights and eating more protein. That's the mainstream formula, right? Hit the gym, slam a protein shake, repeat. And yes, resistance training and protein are non-negotiable. But the truth is, there's one food, one incredibly dense source of muscle-building nutrients that gets overlooked almost entirely in modern diets. And if you're not including it, chances are you're leaving strength, energy, and even cognitive clarity on the table. This food isn't new. In fact, it's ancient. It's something our ancestors not only consumed regularly, they prized it. They consumed it before the muscle meat. They gave it to the sick to heal. They gave it to pregnant women to grow strong, healthy babies. They instinctively knew what we've now proven through science. This one food is like a multivitamin, created by nature, perfectly aligned with what the body needs to repair, grow, and thrive. I'm talking about organ meats, specifically liver. Now, before you tune out because of the taste or texture, hear me out. This isn't about some old-school remedy or nutrition folklore. This is about science-backed, evolution-tested nourishment. Liver is arguably the most nutrient-dense food on the planet. It's loaded with bioavailable iron, B vitamins, especially B12, vitamin A, copper, zinc, choline, and amino acids like methionine and leucine that directly stimulate muscle protein synthesis. Think about that for a moment. Every single system in your body that supports muscle growth and repair relies on nutrients that liver supplies in concentrated form, and not just in trace amounts. These are therapeutic levels. You'd have to eat several servings of other foods to get what you get from just a few bites of liver. It's like nature's original supplement, only better, because your body recognizes and uses it more efficiently than anything you'll find in a capsule. What's fascinating is how this food interacts with your body at a cellular level. For example, vitamin A supports testosterone production and protein synthesis, both critical for muscle development. B vitamins, especially B12 and folate, support red blood cell formation, oxygen transport, and nerve function, all of which contribute to stamina, recovery, and coordination. Iron fuels your mitochondria, helping your body generate energy more efficiently, and choline, it supports acetylcholine production, a neurotransmitter that helps your muscles contract with power and precision. When these systems work in harmony, you feel it, your lifts improve, your recovery speeds up, your mind is sharper, you don't just get stronger, you function better. That's the power of giving your body the right inputs. And yet, this food has nearly vanished from most people's plates. Part of the reason is cultural. Organ meats fell out of favor with the rise of convenience foods and flavor. First eating. We started choosing muscle, meat, chicken breasts, steaks, over the parts of the animal that actually offer the most dense nutrition. But in doing so, we threw away the parts that our bodies need most, especially as we age. And here's where it gets really important. If you're already seeing signs of muscle loss, if you're training but not seeing results, if you feel tired, mentally foggy, or just not bouncing back the way you used to, this food could be the missing link. It's not about eating pounds of liver every day. It's about understanding that even small amounts consumed regularly can have a profound effect. Whether it's incorporating it into your meals, blending it into ground meat, or using freeze-dried capsules, the goal is to reintroduce this forgotten food back into your system. Because the body doesn't just need calories or macros, it needs signals. Nutrient signals that tell your brain, your muscles, and your cells, grow, repair, activate. Liver sends those signals in a language your body understands. That's why people who start including it often report more energy, more strength, better focus, and most importantly, the return of the physical edge they thought was gone forever. This isn't a magic trick. It's just feeding the system what it's been missing all along. Most people don't realize that muscle doesn't just grow because you lift weights or eat a certain number of grams of protein per day. It grows, or doesn't, based on whether you trigger a specific biological process called muscle protein synthesis, or MPS. And here's the key. If you're not triggering MPS consistently, your muscles aren't just staying the same, they're shrinking. Especially as you age, that's the hard truth. Now, MPS is essentially your body's signal to repair and build muscle fibers. It's what happens after a good workout, after you've broken down muscle tissue. But it only happens efficiently when your body has the right signals, specific amino acids that tell the system to switch from breakdown to growth. Without those amino acids, your training could be perfect, your recovery on point, your sleep dialed in, but your muscles will still struggle to grow. One of the most powerful triggers for MPS is the amino acid leucine. It acts like a molecular switch, flipping the anabolic process into gear. Foods high in leucine, methionine, and other essential amino acids provide the raw materials your body needs to do something with the training stimulus. And this is where the food we talked about earlier, organ meats like liver, becomes a game changer. Because not only is liver rich in protein, it also delivers those amino acids in a form your body can absorb and use efficiently. It's like handing your muscles pre-assembled parts instead of raw materials they have to process and reshape. But MPS isn't just about the amino acids themselves, it's about timing and synergy. The body needs these nutrients delivered consistently, especially after resistance training, to maximize the repair window. And it's not just about slamming a shake full of 25 grams of whey protein. That's the shortcut we've been sold, but it's incomplete. Because muscle growth isn't just protein in, muscle out. It's about the environment you create inside your body. And when you supply that environment with nutrient-dense, anabolic foods like liver, you not only turn on MPS more effectively, you support the hormonal and cellular infrastructure that keeps that process running over time. This is especially critical as you get older. The older you are, the harder it is for your body to initiate muscle protein synthesis. You need more of a signal, you need more leverage, and that's why these nutrient-dense foods matter so much. They're not just helping you grow muscle, they're helping you overcome the biological resistance to muscle growth that naturally comes with age. When you combine resistance training with the right amino acid profile, delivered through foods your body recognizes, you build momentum. You start to notice that workouts feel more productive. Your recovery improves. You gain strength back that you thought was gone for good. That's not just effort paying off. That's biology working with you instead of against you. Because at the end of the day, muscle isn't built in the gym. It's built in recovery, in sleep, and most of all, in the kitchen with the right foods sending the right messages to your body at the right time. One of the most misunderstood aspects of muscle health is the connection between the brain and the body. Most people look at muscle as something purely mechanical. Move it, train it, feed it, and it grows. But what gets overlooked is how deeply your nervous system is involved in that process. Your muscles don't move unless your brain tells them to. And more importantly, the quality of that signal, the precision, the intensity, the timing, is what determines how well you move, how strong you are, and how quickly you adapt to training. Think of your brain as the command center and your muscles as the soldiers. If the signal from the brain is weak, delayed, or poorly coordinated, your muscles can't respond efficiently. This is where nutrition plays a far more powerful role than most people realize. The foods you eat don't just fuel your muscles, they fuel your nervous system. They influence how well neurons fire, how fast motor units are recruited, and how effectively your brain can map and control your movements. Nutrients like choline, found in high levels in liver and other organ meats, directly support the production of acetylcholine, the neurotransmitter responsible for muscle contraction. Without it, your muscles feel sluggish. Your coordination slips. You may not even notice it at first, but you start lifting with less control, reacting with slower timing, and recovering from workouts with less efficiency. That's not just fatigue. That's a breakdown in the neuromuscular connection. And then there's B vitamins, especially B12 and folate, which play a role in nerve regeneration, mental clarity, and the creation of new neurons. When you're deficient in these, it's like trying to drive a high-performance car with dirty wiring. You can have all the muscle mass in the world, but if your brain isn't sending clean, powerful signals, you're not accessing your full strength. You're leaving potential on the table every time you train. What's powerful about this understanding is that it puts you back in control. You're not just passively aging or losing performance. You have the ability to sharpen that connection, to strengthen the brain, muscle axis with the right inputs. And when you do, you move better, think clearer, react faster, and your training becomes exponentially more effective, because muscle is not just about what you lift, it's about how you command your body to lift it. When we talk about changing the body, about regaining strength, rebuilding muscle, and reversing decline, it's not enough to rely on belief or theory. We need to look at the data, the real science, the measurable changes that happen in the body when the right nutrition is applied with intention. And the truth is, the evidence for nutrient-dense foods, especially organ meats like liver, is not just anecdotal. It's backed by decades of research, clinical studies, and evolutionary biology. One study after another shows that when individuals incorporate organ meats into their diets, they experience improvements in strength, hormonal balance, red blood cell production, and even mitochondrial function. Mitochondria, the energy factories of your cells, are essential for powering your workouts, your recovery, and your day-to-day movement. And organ meats, packed with iron, B vitamins, and CoQ10, directly support their health and efficiency. That matters because when your mitochondria aren't functioning well, you feel it. You drag through workouts, you hit energy walls, you recover slowly. But when those systems are fed properly, your energy becomes stable, your output increases, and your muscle fibers get the support they need to grow stronger. Not just temporarily, but sustainably. And here's something that rarely gets talked about: hormone production. Muscle gain, fat loss, mood, motivation. So much of that depends on having a hormonal environment that supports growth rather than breakdown. Nutrients like zinc, vitamin A, and saturated fat found in liver and other ancestral foods provide the building blocks for testosterone and other anabolic hormones. This isn't about hormone replacement or artificial enhancement. It's about feeding your body what it needs to produce what it was always meant to naturally. This is the foundation that so many people are missing. They'll train hard, they'll supplement, they'll track macros down to the gram, but they're not eating foods that tell the body at a cellular level to perform better. That's what real results are built on, not hacks, but biological alignment. You give the body what it recognizes, and it gives you strength, vitality, and resilience in return. It's time to stop guessing and start building from evidence. Because when you align your nutrition with the systems that control muscle growth, energy, and performance, change is no longer a struggle. It becomes predictable, reliable, inevitable for a lot of people, even after they understand the value of organ meats like liver. There's one major roadblock: actually eating it. Let's be honest, the taste, the texture, even the idea of it can be enough to make someone hesitate. But here's the good news: there are simple, realistic ways to incorporate this powerful food into your life without forcing down a plate of plain liver and pretending to enjoy it. You don't have to love the taste to reap the benefits. You just need a strategy that works for you and your lifestyle. One of the easiest methods is blending small portions of cooked liver into ground beef dishes. When you add a little bit of liver, about 10-20% by weight, into burgers, meatballs, or chili, you mask the flavor almost completely, but still gain the nutrient density. It's subtle, it's effective, and it doesn't require you to change your eating habits dramatically. You're simply upgrading something you already eat. Another option is to go the supplement route with freeze, dried liver capsules. These are made by gently dehydrating the organ meat at low temperatures to preserve the nutrients, then encapsulating it. No flavor, no prep, no mess. For many people, this is the most convenient way to consistently get the benefits of liver without dealing with the taste. It's an easy addition to a morning routine, and it takes less effort than most daily supplements. And then there's the key to amplifying the impact of organ meats, pairing them with the right supporting nutrients. For example, consuming liver alongside foods high in vitamin C like citrus, bell peppers, or berries can enhance iron absorption. These kinds of combinations not only improve how well your body utilizes the nutrients, but they also support better digestion and integration into your energy and muscle building systems. The goal here isn't to overhaul your diet overnight. It's to be strategic, to layer in these powerful, time-tested foods in ways that are sustainable. A few bites a week or a couple of capsules a day can deliver massive returns over time. This is about consistency, not perfection. Because at the end of the day, it's not about whether you like liver, it's about whether you're willing to give your body what it's been quietly asking for all along. So when you step back and look at the full picture, what's really causing muscle loss, what your body is silently lacking, and how you can fix it, the solution becomes clear. This isn't about chasing trends, counting every calorie, or pushing harder in the gym hoping something clicks. It's about giving your body what it truly needs to thrive, at the cellular level, at the neurological level, at the muscular level. Your strength, your energy, your resilience, they're not gone. They're just waiting for the right signal to come back online. And that signal starts with a food that's been ignored for far too long. Reintroduce it. Use it wisely. Let it do what it's designed to do, because your muscles aren't vanishing by chance. They're vanishing by neglect. And now you know exactly what to do about it.